The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey, thank you for joining, guys. My name is Sharat Tamanna, working in a company called Theorem India Private Limited from past 4+ years. We are still in setup stage. Now the Salesforce is integrated to Pardot and it is talking to each other. Today, I will talk about the administration. By the end of this model, you will able to learn the use cases of admin, how to add the email sending domain, which are all the connectors you can use for Pardot instance, and I will show how to connect Pardot to the social connectors, and I will explain how the Pardot assets are managed in the recycle bin, and at last I will talk about user roles, folder permissions, and security limits. Once you logged into the Pardot, you have four sections. One is marketing, the second one is prospects, the third one is reports, and the fourth one, which is having the briefcase icon, is admin. Under the admin, you can see all these options, that is overview, automation settings. Under the automation settings, you have scoring and visitor fields, connectors, configure fields. Under the configure fields, we have account fields, opportunity fields, prospect fields, custom object, domain management, importing the prospects, recycle bin, security, system emails, and the user management. When you click the audio tab is showing you all the different types of emails sent by you in the current Pardot instance. The email usage is showing the different types of emails templates. That is, first comes the drip campaigns. Now they have made that as engagement program, which are all the emails which is sent through drip campaigns or engagement program. It will show that numbers. The second one is the list emails. Here we need to choose a specific target list of prospects sent to. Whenever you're creating a list email, you need to attach a list or multiple list of prospects in the email marketing campaigns. The third one is an automated email, is more or less our autoresponder email templates. Whenever the prospect is submit a form, or a visitor is submit a form, automatically he's going to receive an automated email. That is comes under automated emails. One-to-one emails, essentially an email template that allow you to Pardot user to send one email to one prospects of their choices. That is one-to-one emails. Engage with emails. This is going to add on when you have Salesforce engage in your Salesforce instance. You can send a Pardot emails from that. You have a date range option. If you want to see the number of emails which is sent on that month, that year, you can choose from here. And at last, you have a tool option. If you want to pull the reports or print the report, you can use the option tool and export the data. Now, I will talk about the technical setup, how to add an email sending domain to Pardot. Before going to send the email, you have to add the email sending domain. Otherwise, it's likely to held up in spam folders. I will show with the demo. First thing is, when you go to Pardot, comes to admin tab. From that, heading down to domain management. When you click the domain management, you can see the email sending domains and the tracker domains. I will delete this one. If you want to add the new domains, click add new domain. Enter the domain name. For example, I will give it as espn.com. Once you created the domain, now the domain name is created under the Pardot. You need to add the expected DNS entries, that is SPF, domain key policies, and the domain keys. You need to add this to the DNS server. Generally, this will be taken care by an IT team or a webmaster. First, what do you mean by an SPF? SPF record is a type of domain name services text record that identifies which mail servers are permitted to send emails on behalf of your domain. The purpose of SPF record is to detect and prevent the spammers from sending that messages. When it comes to the domain key is a spam and a phishing spam to determine if the message is originated from the authorized system or not. If the domain keys uses domain text record to define the domain key policy and the public encryption key for the domain names. When you click the check, once again, once the SPF records and domain keys are in the DNS server, once it is fixed, it will automatically verified, and the error which we are seeing here, that is also resolved. Once this is done, if you are moving forward, if the email is sent from this Pardot instance on behalf of that domain, this is how we are going to add the domains. Once you have added, it will take around 24 hours to 48 hours to verify the domain. Next comes the connectors. What will generally the connectors will do? The connectors will allow Pardot and third-party application to sync data and activities back and forth. If you want to add connectors, you need to go to admin under that connectors. We have different types of connectors. For example, CRM, that is Salesforce, what we have yesterday in the last sessions which connected. Event connector is Eventbrite. Social media connectors we have like data.com, AdThis, Full Contact. Social posting connectors are like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Video connector is Wistia. Our webinar connectors are WebEx, ReadyTalk, GoToWebinars. Under other connectors, we have Google Ads, Twilio, Olark, User Voice, Bitly, Google Analytics. We have other third-party apps are also there, which is not in this section. If you want to connect that, you have to use the Pardot API. Note, connector must be verified in Pardot, not through the Pardot tab in Salesforce. I think you have an option in Pardot that if any of the user, if you are enable the single sign-on, you can log in through Salesforce for the Pardot. Under that, if anyone is using the tab under the Salesforce, you can't verify the connectors through Salesforce in Pardot. You have to verify by logging into Pardot only. Let's go and talk about some Pardot connectors. The first one is the Google AdWords connector. By using the custom redirect, we can track prospects who clicks on paid search ads by applying the tracking code to the page. And the second one is you can tie cost data from AdWords to opportunity data from Salesforce to determine the true cost per qualified leads under the search engine marketing of ROI. You have webinar connector. If you're using this webinar connectors, it will helps to register prospects for webinar events from Pardot forms via completion actions. I think you can see a screenshot over here. This is a completion action which is applied for the prospect. If anyone is registered for the prospects, automatically it will apply for this completion actions. Like it will add some Pardot basics to that record. Display registrations and attendees as activities in the prospect records. You can see one more screenshot here, and by you in this screenshot you can see if any of the prospect is registered, he will get some score. If the same prospect is attended, he will get the one more score. Like this, if anyone has done any activity with respect to webinar connectors, it will automatically register to your prospect record. Score registration attendees activities. Under the report section, you can see all those activities which the prospect has done. Automatically pull into Pardot prospect who exist in the webinar provider but not yet in the Pardot. This means that whenever you're connecting the Pardot to the webinar connectors, generally it will not automatically pull that prospect to the Pardot. If you are moving forward, if you are disconnected that connector also, you have an email address of the that customers or a prospect, you can use that prospect and further you can target them through Pardot. Next is video connector. The only video connector we can use in the Pardot is Wistia. From the screenshot, you can view how much percentage of video can be viewed by the prospect. And second one is it's turnsel allow. Pardot can collect the email address before, during, and after an video. Next is Eventbrite. It will create prospects and display registration and activities of prospect activities. It automatically score and report an event registration and attendance. From the screenshot, you will get the prospect activity, whether he has registered, checked in, and score as well. Next comes the social posting connectors. Under the social posting connectors, we have allow you to simultaneously post from Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. You can connect to personal and company pages for Facebook. For LinkedIn also, you can connect personal and company pages. If the link begins with HTTP or HTTPS, Pardot rewrite the links as a trackable links to gather the insight, or click links, comments like or retweets. You can track those likes or tweets through custom redirect. Remember one thing, you have to log out of the one Twitter account to verify the other page. You cannot connect multiple Twitter accounts at the same time. Since it is a social post, not every one of the friend of social media accounts or followers can see, since they are not in Pardot database. If you're randomly people are clicking the links of the social post, it is going to register as click a social post. If a prospect has done that, you can get the information of the clicks through into the Pardot reports. If the person which is outside of the Pardot has done any activities, you can't get his personalized details except the IP address. or the source. I will show practically by creating a social post. If you want to do a social post, go to marketing, social. You can see here which is recently created post for LinkedIn. If you want to create a new post, click new social post. Once you click the new social post, left hand side you have an accounts option. You have Facebook and LinkedIn account. I will click a LinkedIn account. If you want to add any campaigns, I will add the campaign as well. If you want to add any tags, this is like an Instagram tags, hashtag. You can insert any links. You can attach the images through upload. Once you have created the post, sorry, you can you have an option like schedule for a particular time and date. Otherwise, you can send it directly. Once you put the send now, you can view this post in the LinkedIn. Go back to slides again. I think we are done with social postings. Now I will show how to add the connectors. If you want to add the connectors, you need to go to admin, connectors tab. If you click the add, if you want to add any new connectors, and one more thing I forgot to say, you can connect multiple Facebook accounts, multiple LinkedIn accounts at a time. We have some other connectors as well. One is Twilio. This allow you to send SMS text to the prospects. If you have a phone number of the prospect, you have, I think, Bitly. Bitly allows you to use shortened URL services and a link management platform. We have Olark. Olark is a chat connector. For example, if you go to website asking for an help, the chatter is opened in that side like that it will work. Olark is a chat connector. We have user voice. From this, the people can voice their opinions of your company, your products, services, your website, anything like that. We have social media connector as well. Add this. By using this connector, you can encourage your prospects to share your content on their social media accounts and track additional metrics from your at this account. You have one more important connector is full contact. I'm not able to see in here. The full contact, it automates the prospect social profiles. It lookups based on email address. Using the full contact connector, the connector can check the prospects on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. The connector pulls the location data, profile image, or summary of the prospect as well. If you want to add any of the connector, click that connector. You have to generate the access token. Better, I will add one more Facebook account. Once it is added, see here it is not verified, it is created. Once it is verified, put verified connector. It will ask for your login. Since I logged in, I think click verify now. Once you put the verify now, it will ask for your login. Since I logged in, it's going to verify in the next 1 minute. That's all about connectors. I would go back to my slides. Now I will talk about recycle bin. The recycle bin comes under the admin tab. Whenever you delete something or some items, it will automatically goes to the recycle bin. The items in the recycle bin are never permanently deleted unless they are content files, that is images, HTML or CSS. The tags, whenever you're marked on the prospects as reviewed. The folders, when you have deleted the folders, it must be an empty. It's automatically deleted. It not will be in the recycle bin. The list email draft is nothing but when you're creating a list for a particular email, if it will be, if you're not going to send for the list for that email, if you deleted that list email draft, it will not be in the recycle bin. It will automatically deleted. The email template, if you deleted the email template, definitely it will be in the recycle bin. If you delete a prospect, that prospect be in the recycle bin. If you delete the prospect, if the deleted prospect wants to be again stored in the Pardot, if the prospect has done any clicked any trackable links, or if you fill out any forms of the Pardot forms, he will automatically stored out of the recycle bin and he will be stored in the Pardot database. I will show how to delete a prospects and how to add that. Here you can see that under the recycle bin you have an option like opportunities, page actions, personalization, profiles, prospects, prospect accounts, default field, queues and user group. If you deleted any of the prospects through prospect list, those prospects will automatically come to recycle bin. If you want to undelete them, you have two options. One is you can, if the prospect has done any action with respect to fill out the form or click the track link, he will be automatically stored into the Pardot database. And one more thing, manually we can undelete them and store to the Pardot database. Come to prospect list. I will delete Cale Johns. Once you deleted the Cale Johns, that prospect will be in the recycle bin under the prospects. See here, you have Cale Johns. You have two options. One is you can permanently delete it from recycle bin as well, and you can undelete them. Once you click the undelete, that prospect will come out of this recycle bin and will store it in the Pardot database. And one more option, if you want to select multiple records, you can do that as well through table actions. See here, these 3 prospects will be undeleted and those prospects will be currently in Pardot database. This is just for a prospect like this only. All the under the recycle bin, which are all the contents were there, it will works like that. These are all the models which will comes under the recycle bin. Go back to slides. Next comes the usage governance. The usage governance, it includes 3 separate items. One is user roles, second one is folder permissions, the third one is security limits. The user roles definitely takes the hierarchy, all of them. It deals with the type of capability that the Pardot user should have. Should they have everything available for them to do, or limited functionality what the person able to do? Next comes the security limits. It limits on imports, number of email signs, and the amount of prospect export to the file. And the third one and the important one is the folder permissions. This is restricted for others users except only for the admin users, and the marketing users is having permission for all the folders and access. The user roles. There are 4 default user roles in the Pardot instance. One is administration, second one is marketing users, third one is sales manager, and the fourth one is sales user. Apart from these user roles, you can create a custom role as well based on the requirement. First comes the administrator, which is having the most amount of access and capabilities. They can do anything and everything in the platform, starting from connectors, importing, exporting, everything. The second one is a marketing. These people will have access to marketing tab, creating emails, list, landing pages, forms, etc. They can see all the prospects in the database, and they can import the prospect as well. They can see the recycle bin, they can view the users and groups, but only option they don't have is they don't have an option to export a prospects. They can access to any folders, and they can access the content. The third one is sales manager. The sales manager can view all visitors and prospects and send one-to-one email as well. The sales manager can view reports, and they can export the data as well through CSV export. The last one is sales users. When it comes to the sales user, he's a very he's having a very limited access. They won't be able to see all the prospects in the Pardot database. They won't be able to create emails, forms, etc. They can only send one-to-one email template for the assigned prospects to them. Next comes the user role setups and the maintenance. If you want to create user, you have to go to admin, user management, and users, admin, user management, and user. You have 2 options to create the users. One is through manually, and one more is you can import up to 50 records at a time. If you click the add users, you have to name it, you have to add the email address, if you need as HTML signature or a text signature, you have to add that. You need to add the time zone as well. the locale language. Here you can see the CRM username. Why we are going to provide the CRM username is, for if you are giving the CRM, now I have logged in through, since the connector is between the developer accounts of mine. If you provide that username, it's automatically create a sales user as a Pardot user. Now the sales user have an option. If anybody is going to assign in Pardot, he's not even logging into Pardot, he's get the notification in Salesforce. Once this is done, you have an options like administrator, full access marketing, sales and sales manager. You have security limit options. When it comes to the security limit options, you can set maximum limits on the number of imports, number of exports, number of email sendings. Whenever you are adding, don't click it as 0, because the Pardot will recognize the 0 as infinite. This is with respect to email preferences, which are all the notification is necessary for your user purpose. But when it comes to the exam, they are going to ask the questions under this. For example, which are all the email preferences options you have whenever the user is creation. You have send daily prospect activity emails, send an email when the prospect is assigned, send daily prospect assignment emails, send daily visitors activity emails, send start prospect activity alerts, send weekly search marketing emails, send monthly inactive automations emails. This is completely based on your requirements. You can set. I will cancel this because I have already in the Pardot database. Again, I will go back to slides. If you want to edit the users, you can click the cog icon under the actions. If you want to edit, you can edit. If you want to edit the groups, you have an option like user group over here. I will talk about in next slide. If you want to edit the preferences, you can click edit preferences. I think security limit, I have already talked about this. You can set maximum limits on the number of imports, exports and email sendings. Don't use the 0 records at a time, because the Pardot will take the 0 as infinite. Next, mapping Pardot users to the Salesforce users ensures the ownership consistency between the Pardot and Salesforce. We need to create all the Pardot users as a Salesforce users. If you have done that, if any prospect you have assigned in Pardot, that prospect is received the assignment in Salesforce. This will be helpful for the sales reps. Don't want them to log in for Pardot, and they can directly log in from Salesforce and they can get the notification under the Salesforce. I think I have already shown when creating a user, you have an option like CRM username. Whenever creating an user in Pardot, you have to assign that username. And we have one more option. Once you created a user, you have an option like single sign-on. If you provide the option for single sign-on, if you provide the action on single sign-on, what will the single sign-on do is, you don't want to log into Pardot, you can directly access the Pardot tab through Salesforce. From that is one point. And one more point is, you can see all the prospect engagement in Salesforce through engagement history tab. This is one more option. If you want to enable the single sign-on, you have to select the users. You have an option like enable single sign-on with CRM. Once you have enabled this, you can directly log in from Salesforce for the Pardot tab. And you can see the engagement activities of the prospects under the engagement history of that page layout. If it is lead page layout, if it is contact, he will see the contact page layout. How to map the users? I think while creating a user, we have an option map that users. Next comes the user group. The user group are used for round robin lead assignments, that is distribution of leads. The second one is to limit the access to folders. Example, when a new prospect is assigned to the Southern Eastern Sales Reps group, Pardot will automatically assign a prospects to each group members before assigning another prospect, ensuring the fair and equal distribution of leads. If you want to see the groups, here you can see an option like user group. You can create a groups. By creating a groups, you can add which are all the users you want. You can add that users. I have added 4 users over here. These are the 4 users of an option. Whenever the prospect is assigned, it will needs to equal distribution. That's why they name it as round robin lead assignments. Like the user creation, we can add the user groups. Who are all necessary, you can add those prospects over to that user groups. I think you have few questions. If you answer these questions, the answer will come under the model what I have explained. You can get all the answers from this session. Thank you guys.